Casseroles have got to be the ultimate comfort food, and for this recipe I'm going to use some lovely Irish beef, some sausages, yes, in a casserole, lots of lovely vegetables, and we're going to cook it in some stout, so we are some lovely Guinness. So it's kind of like low and slow, and it's something you can make in the slow cooker. It's a recipe from my latest book, Midweek Meals, which is just behind my shoulder. And I'm going to talk to you, just heat my pan, and then I'm going to heat my lovely new cast iron pot, part of my cookware collection. So that's it there. So be careful that it can go into the oven. It's a nice casserole pot. It's not too big or not too small, and you can do this, of course, if you already have my skillet pan, which will work fine. So I'm using some rapeseed oil. So good vegetables, wonderful beef, you know, cooked low and slow with lovely kind of like a nice kind of flavoured kind of sauce. It's just gorgeous. So this is our lovely diced steak here, Irish Angus. It's from Jellings in Ballinrobe, and this is our diced beef, and the board be a quality mark. So this is the type of cut which is perfect for making this stew. I'm just using one packet, that's all. I'm making a little bit less that's actually in the recipe in the book. We're going to put a little bit of butter, you know me and the butter, into the pan, and then we're going to, now normally what I would do actually, just to save time in the video, I'd brown off the meat in the casserole pot, and then I would take it off onto a plate and then put the vegetables into a casserole pot, and then add the sealed off beef back in. But I'm just going to save a little bit of time by doing this here. Okay, so this is our beef here. Kind of just spread it out, nice big chunks of beef goes in there. Into the casserole pot I am going to put a little bit of butter, and I have 2 small carrots and 1 onion, that's all. You can use celery, you can use leeks, you can use butternut squash, put in whatever vegetables you like or you enjoy. So that's going to go in there for a moment. Going to give that a little stir. We're going to put in some garlic, and I'm using my garlic crusher here. So put pressure, and then just literally with the knife there or a spoon, scrape that in there, and that's going to go in on top of your carrots. I'll turn up the heat now. I'll do the other garlic now. So what I want to do, everyone, is just literally seal off the beef. We'll put a little bit of salt and some black pepper onto that. So really nice hot pan. So if you're doubling up this recipe, do the beef in batches. So that means don't put all the beef in. You can toss it in flour if you want to. But I think, and you'll see I have one already made, that it doesn't really need to be thickened up. If it's too runny, you can use a little bit of diluted corn flour if you want to. Okay, another clove of garlic. So just rock it over and back. Just kind of crush that. And then this is going to go into our pan there. Lovely. Or to our casserole pot. Just get a little bit of colour. You don't need, just getting the flavours going. And then just browning the meat. Just a nice little bit of brownness there. You can see it kind of catching there, which is perfect. Just sealing it in. That's going to give the casserole the most beautiful flavour, and that's exactly what I want in this recipe. Okay, so what I am going to do is with the sausages, I'm going to talk to you about the sausages. These are the Simply Better. These are the spring onion and black pepper sausages. I just love these, literally pan fried. Serve with a nice cheesy mash. One of my videos has it done with a cheesy mash of red onion gravy. It's gorgeous. They're a lovely sausage. They're made with good quality Irish pork, and they also have no MSG in them. So they're a really, really lovely sausage. They also have a honey and mustard, sun-dried tomato. They have their breakfast sausage. So you make whatever sausage you like. This is actually, I think, one of our favourites, so it is. Now, just giving this another little stir here. Into the pan, let's have a little look. We're going to put a little bit of thyme. So I'll just get my scissors out. So we've lots of interesting flavours I'm going to talk to you about now going in here. So I'm going to chop a little bit of fresh thyme, and thyme works so well in this recipe. It really does. So get all the thyme there, everyone. Roll it up. Watch your fingers when you're doing this, and then cut it. And if you find that this thyme is a little bit kind of woody or stalky, just literally pick off the leaves. So I'm going to chop this really, really small. So just watch the technique. You rock it over and back. Lovely. Then gather it up, and then that's going to go into the casserole pot. Now, we're looking good. Yum. You're just coating everything. Now, just sealed off your beef. That's going to go into the casserole pot. And then into this pan, we're going to lightly just brown, just for a minute or two, just the sausages in a minute. I'm just going to bring it back up on the same pan. Don't even worry about washing it. Okay, tomato puree. 1 large spoonful of tomato puree goes in there. Give it a good stir. We're going to deglaze it with some wine, and just, this is Pinot Noir, so it's a really nice wine to cook with. But if it's not good enough to drink with, it's not good enough to cook with. And you don't cook with an expensive wine at the same time either. All right, nice hot pan. Then our sausages are going to go in. I'll just use a spoon into the pan. So I've cut them in, I should have said that, I cut them in half. And I'm just going to literally just brown them ever so slightly. I'm not going to cook them fully because this is going to go into the oven for nearly 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So the sausages will obviously shrink, but when you see the flavour and everything kind of goes into the pot, lots of lovely layers of flavour. So stir through your tomato puree. Okay, keep it nice and high. That's the onion, the garlic, carrots in there. We're going to put in our lovely can of the San Marzano tomatoes, the chopped tomatoes, and these are just so good. So a full can in there. Always have some of them if you can in your kitchen cupboard. For me, they're store cupboard essential. They really are. Okay, let's just shake our nice little, it's not just a little bit more oil, I think. So you can see the way it's got a nice little bit of colour. So it's got that lovely, lovely flavour from the actual beef that you sealed it in. Guinness, we're going to put in our Guinness in here. So it's going in there. You don't want to use Guinness, don't worry. You can use some beef stock. It cooks out the alcohol, so don't worry about that. This is perfect for all the family to enjoy. And of course, there's some people that say Guinness is very, very good for you. It's full of iron and all that, and it's good for you every so often. Everything in moderation. That's very, very important. Now, let's have a little look at our sausages. Gorgeous. Nice little bit of a colour there, which is exactly what I want. I put in the thyme, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of the HP sauce. It's a sauce that I don't really use an awful lot, to be truthful with you, but we're going to put in a couple of spoonfuls of that. So this will give a lovely kind of like really nice flavour. So I'm going to put in 3 spoonfuls in here. Now stir this through, then the sausages go in, and that's it. It just goes into the oven. So look at the way the sausages have got that nice colour. That's exactly what I want. So I've sealed off the beef. I'm going to pop them in, just like that. Stir this all through. Just put it on my plate here. And then it's going to come to the boil. I'm going to put the lid on it, and then it's going to go into the oven at 160, so it is. And the one we have done, I'm going to show you this now. It'll reduce, don't worry about that. Stir it maybe every half an hour. It took nearly 2 hours, and that really depends on the size of the dice of meat. Obviously, we're using the Simply Better Irish Angus. But the sausages too, cut them nice and big. They will shrink, so don't be cutting them too small. Lid goes on there, so I'm going to take this one out of the actual oven, and then we're going to stir in some lovely butter beans. Now, I'm going to show you this. Be really careful. Turn this off, and this goes in like musical chairs. So remember, about two hours, 160. And usually when I do any kind of recipe, it's always a fan oven. So the moment it's through it. Now it'll reduce up lovely. Mel, if you want to have a little look in here. Really hot, guys, so please be really careful. If you think that's a little bit thick, I think it's delicious. And if you, when you make this and you think it's a little bit runny, you can thicken it with a bit of corn flour. We're going to add in our beans. So these are the butter beans. Just rinse them, that's all I've done. I'm going to stir them through. So they're going to heat up. I'll just maybe turn on the gas just to make sure they're warm through. They won't take long in here. And then some chopped herbs. And the herbs that I'm using, a little bit of parsley. So I grow a little bit of flat leaf parsley here and a little bit of curly. You don't have to use both. Gather it all up. And we're going to chop this and we're going to serve this up. Now this casserole, guys, is so good with some rice, some mashed potato, so whatever you want to serve it with. I'm just going to put it into a bowl and just show you the whole lovely kind of textures and all that. And the butter beans are gorgeous, so they are in this. This is the type of casserole that keeps really, really well, and it keeps exceptionally well. So it does. That'll keep for 4 or 5 days in your fridge. We're ready to serve up. And for me, the key into this is using really good Irish beef. Lots of lovely vegetables cooked in the stout. I'm using the Guinness there. You could use Murphy's. Just going to spoon this up here. So I meant to show you, sorry, with a small knife, just when you know when the beef is cooked. So just when it just falls apart. That's the sausage, sorry. You'd think I'd know. Okay, there's a bit of beef there. So you can see the carrot still, you know, that's falling away there. You can just see that. So that's exactly what you want, that melt in the mouth. The sausages are interesting. This would have been a recipe that my mother would have shown us and cooked for us, because it was Nang in our family. So like, she was a wonderful cook, and that's where I got my love of food and cooking, was really from her. So this is, I think it brings back great memories for me. Now I actually really like stews with rice, to be truthful with you, but it is hard to beat a nice mashed potato. So that's a really, really quick, not quick, because you cook it low and slow, but it is a really tasty comfort recipe. And you can do this in the slow cooker. If you're doing it in a slow cooker, try and get the one, I just have from Morphy Richards, that can just sit in the hob, the kind of like center part, and you brown off your vegetables, you brown off your meat. That's where you get the flavour. But in a slow cooker, that would take about 6 to 8 hours to cook out. So that's explained in the book. This one, I cooked it in my lovely new casserole pot, and just that's it there, guys. So that's my lovely Irish beef and sausage casserole with those lovely nice white beans. You can use cannellini beans, haricot beans. We're using the butter beans there, and I think serve that with some crusty bread or maybe some mash or rice, and you have a family feast. So enjoy this recipe. Thank you so much.